This is the Shieldon Knives Bulbasaur. I know, interesting name, interesting looking knife. Sent to me by Shieldon Knives. They reached out to me and asked if I wanted to check out any knives. I said yes, because I love the Shieldon scythe designed by DC Blades. It's such a great knife. I have that, and I've experienced some other Shieldons. I have the Shieldon Gambit designed by Dirk Pinkerton, and I've been very impressed with the build quality of these knives. So I said, yeah, send me some knives. They sent me 3 that are kind of out of my wheelhouse, 2 really sort of contemporary EDCs, and then this one I'm showing off first because to me it's the most interesting. It's a shilling cutter style knife. A shilling cutter is a traditional Chinese style folding knife. Has this sort of leaf-shaped blade. We've seen that in the Vostede. Which one is the Vostede has a shilling cutter out. Now I can't remember the name of that one, but similar blade shape. To me, it reminds me of a barong. And then I learned later on that this leaf-shaped blade, when it's in a folding knife, is most likely emulating the Chinese shilling cutter utility knife. If I'm not as facile with my hands, it's because that nasty cut on my thumb still hurts, and there's still some disruption in sensation in my thumb. Though I've been given the green light, it is not a nerve. I did not cut a nerve, so that's pretty good. So what do I see when I see this? I think this is kind of a tactical knife. Yes, it's very fancy with the black and green layered and contoured G10. If you turn it on its tail end, you can see that beautiful contouring. It's very comfortable in hand with this low slung regular pocket clip, stamped pocket clip, but it's not a deep carry. I like how they've given you some to pull up on, some extra knife that hangs out of the pocket to pull up on. There are those nice standoffs. But yeah, I like where they placed it down low on this tapering handle. You don't even feel it in the hand. And that's not because I have nerve damage, or think I do anyway. It's because it's perfectly placed. You know, this sort of arc-shaped handle with the taper at the end could be a problem, but they figured out the exact right spot to put that clip. I also think that going with a regular style clip and not a loop over deep carry pocket clip was the right choice. I think that other kind of deep carry clip with the loop on the back, you would feel it a little bit more than you do right now. Okay, let's get to, since I'm talking about the handle already, the ergonomics of this are really nice. It feels really good in hand. And then with the way the spine of the blade arcs up, it gives you something to push against, to back against, even if you're not engaging in this excellent jimping. So the handle, the ergonomics are really nice. I like the jimping here. That always comes in handy when disengaging a knife. And actually, it disengages really well. I'm just going slow because of this thumb. But I find that my fingers engage there quite a bit on knives when I'm closing it, just to get the lock started. And then also, in this kind of grip, in a forward grip, it's sort of the opposite of the thumb. You're pushing down with the thumb. It's sort of a push-pull motion there. And so that jimping there is a nice counterbalance to the jimping up there. Comfortable in reverse grip, though this is not a comfortable thing for me to do right now. Having that little arc there is perfect. Perfect place to hook the thumb over if you've got to use this in a tactical manner, or you have to get a lot of downward force on a cut. It also works pretty damn well in this sort of reverse pickall grip if you really needed it for self-defense. But the handle, just very comfortable, ergonomic, nicely ergonomic with the contouring and this simple shape, pretty neutral shape. And then you've got a pretty substantial finger choil here, especially on this side, makes accessing that lock bar very, very easy, even with my left hand. Yeah, so nice. All right, when you look at the pivot here, there's a pivot collar of the same sort of G10. And then there's I think that's aluminum. I would imagine for that's anodized aluminum. It's a nice little touch. It's a nice little flourish here. I can't decide whether I think it looks dated to me. I can't tell whether that looks sort of 2015 to me. And it's so funny. To me, 2015 is just, seems like it was just around the corner, but that's like 9 years ago at this point. I know. Simple math has always been magic to me. But in terms of knife years, something about this pivot, though I like the extra attention that went into it, something about it seems like you're trying too hard. But maybe that's me just kind of being cynical. And the reason I'm cynical a little bit about this pivot is that it's not a captured pivot. I prefer a D-ring on one side that, you can't see, or I should say a D-shaped hole for the pivot to sit in, and then a D-shaped pivot so that it doesn't turn, so that you don't need two T8 Torx bits to fuss with the pivot. Luckily, I won't have to fuss with the pivot because it's so perfectly centered, and it's made really, really well. And of the three of them, and I will show you the other two in a second here, just as a comparison, this one is my favorite because it's the most unique. It is the most tactical. It's the most like a fighting knife, or the most like a sword, with this center line point, kind of a, like I said, a barong shape, a shilling cutter shape, or that straight down the line with that point, so you know where it is at every orientation. A nice belly. I just really like this knife. Tall, shearing, full flat ground blade, and excellent action, flipping action on bearings. Let me see if there's some details on the side of the box here. I want to make sure I get. So this is the Bulbasaur. Interesting name. Designer is Django. Blade steel Sandvik 14C28N G10. And then let's see, weight is 4.4 ounces. And here we have 3.6 inches, 3.6, let's call it 3.7 inch blade. It does feel like a pretty big knife, or a pretty full size knife, I should say. And let's see how it cuts. And we're not going to see how it cuts. We're going to see how it slices through paper. And that usually gives you a pretty good indication of what the factory edge is like. It's very nice. You know what about this edge? It's very sharp, and it's gripping. It's not that it's a toothy edge, but it's really gripping that paper. Sometimes something is so sharp, or the edge is so polished, it like slips out of the cut. Not so with this. This is really nice. Old script from work here. All right, now let me show you the Bulbasaur. The Bulbasaur. Let me show you this with two other Shieldons that they sent me, and they're both pretty damn sweet. This first one, I'm gonna mangle the names, I think. Well, maybe I won't. This is the Empoleon, like Napoleon, but he's more empathetic. He's like an empathetic Napoleon. My God, this thing has amazing action. It is the most, I will say, pedestrian. That sounds vanilla. I don't know. I love vanilla, but it's the most vanilla of the three designs sent to me. It's just kind of very generic, not generic, neutral. That's the word. Neutral. Great in any grip is this knife, and I'll make a full video about this knife. But snappy action, very thin, slicey blade. This thing is a very nice EDC. About the same size, a little bit smaller, I guess. And then this one, this seems to be now, again, thumb. I'm going to try it with my left hand just for. This is kind of their newer. This is newer than both of these, I believe, and seems to be a little bit more with the times. You've got than the Bulbasaur, for instance. People are trending towards smaller blades and less decorative, unless it's high end, and they want the high end decorative materials. So I think that this one is more modern than the Bulbasaur, though the Bulbasaur has won my heart. This one has an excellent crossbar lock and a very good front flipper, though you might not be able to tell from my jacked up thumb situation, but Yeah, there we go. Or here, let's try it with the forefinger. To me, that's usually a good indication of a good front flipper, if I can get it with my forefinger. But very neutral. I like this one a lot. Um, just a great blade shape and all of that. So I'll do videos of these separately, but I wanted to show them together to give you a size of the Bulbasaur. So uh, cool size, cool knife. If I could change something on this, no, it wouldn't be the pivot. That's me. That's just a personal taste issue. I would make this excellent clip, well placed and well considered clip. I would just make it less shiny. I prefer less shiny blades because this one, or clips, because this one to me seems like it could definitely double as a self-defense knife. And the less people see, the less people are attracted to it, the better, I'd say. Very nice lockup on this. Very nice action. I dig this Bulbasaur. So I want to thank you, Shieldon Knives, for sending this to me. I really appreciate it. It's very cool. And you were, I guess, thinking right when you sent this one to me. I got to say, when I first got it, I was like, what are they doing? I wanted something, I had my idea of what I wanted. But I think you guys were smart in sending this to me. Because, yeah, it's like a little pocket barong. All right, thanks for watching this video of the Bulbasaur, and stay tuned for the videos of those two coming up soon.